Hey guys, we have here our Beats Solo 3 wireless headphones, and in this video we want to explain to you how to replace the ear pads on these headphones when they are going bad. So of course we start out by first removing the old ear pads, and those are actually glued into place. So we are using here a small flat blade screwdriver. If you have, you can also use a butter knife. Anything kind of sharp will do. And you're just going to wedge, here in this case my screwdriver, right in there, and I'm going to do this really carefully, and I'm going to work myself in there. I'm going to wiggle a little bit, and I'm going to try the same thing on a different location. I'm going to work my way all the way around, and it's going to take a minute or two for you to accomplish, but eventually the ear pad is going to be loose enough so that we can just kind of take it off. You see, this is really sticky, so there's like a strong adhesive tape in between the ear pad and the ear cup. So what you see here already, now eventually it will come loose, and we're going to be able to completely remove the old ear pad. Now when we take a close look at the ear cup now, we see there's still a lot of residue from the glue and the adhesive tape left on there, and we're going to have to remove this before we attach our new ear pads. So now here is the package of my replacements that I purchased, and I'm going to leave a link in the comment section below. And now in this package you find a couple of helpful tools here. For one, there's this little scraper here, so you can use this one to help to remove the excessive glue that's still stuck on there. And so we're going to start doing that now. And you will notice this glue is really sticky and strong, so you have to take some time. It's going to take maybe around 10 minutes to get all of the glue and residue here off there. So I'm just going to scrape along here, and while you do this you have to make sure that you don't accidentally rip off those two little plastic pins that are on the ear cups there. So you see there's like one in the upper right corner, like right there where my little tab is here, and then there's another one on the lower left corner. You want to make sure you don't accidentally tear those off, so we are going to use those or need those further along. Okay, so eventually we have most of the residue removed. Then we're going to take another look at the package of the new replacements, and you find here these wipes. So we can use these wipes to help further clean the ear cups. So first comes with a wet wipe and a dry wipe, and you're going to first start out with the wet wipe. So these are some alcohol wipes. Turned out that the wipes that I got here, those were already dried out, so these were not really wet at all. So I ended up soaking them with some alcohol. So I'm using here some rubbing alcohol. If you have just some isopropyl alcohol, that works as well to help loosen the glue up. You definitely don't want to use water here, because that would be really bad if that went into the inside of the earphones, of our headphones. So if you have some alcohol, that's perfect. Use that instead if the wet wipes are not really wet anymore. And then as the last step here, we can use the dry wipe to remove the excessive moisture. So in case there is some alcohol left, then we can remove that with the also with some remaining residue. So just wipe over there for a little bit, and then we should be ready to continue. Okay, so now we're already at the step where we're going to install the new ear pads. And now, even though both ear pads look pretty much the same from the outside, they really are not. So one of them belongs to the left side and one of them belongs to the right side. So one indicator to find out which side is which is those two little holes on the back side. So you remember those pins that we saw on the ear cup that were sticking out? So those only work on one side here with these holes on the ear pads. But then also you find here this one ear pad has this little groove here on the bottom where it's missing on the other one. So this one here, where it has this little hole here, this little cutout, that's for the USB charging port here on the right ear cup. So that's where this one goes. So it's really easy to identify which ear pad goes on the right side and which one goes onto the left side. And as I mentioned before, there are these pins on the ear cups and the corresponding holes on the new ear pads. So we have to make sure that we line those up correctly. So we want to do a couple of dry runs trying to line them up correctly, just so that the holes go over those pins. And then it's really easy if you look at the bottom where the charging port is. So the groove on the ear pad, that has to line up with that charging port. So and then you can also just look from the side, you can see the pin here. and then you eventually figure out how to really easily line up the ear pad correctly. And now when we take a look at the back side of the new ear pads, and you see there's already some adhesive tape mounted on here. So as soon as you're ready to use them, we can just peel off the covering tape. And then in case we do mess up and we do it wrong, then there is some replacements for the adhesive tape. So in case we don't get it perfectly the first time, then we can also fall back here to the replacement adhesive tape strips. But now it's finally time to actually reinstall the ear pads. So we're going to take the paper off here. And as I explained before, we're going to first line up the bottom part where the USB charging port is. That's the easiest way to do this. See this? We're going to line this up perfectly, and then we're going to look for the plastic pin on the ear cup and the hole on the ear pad. We're going to line up those two. And if you don't get it right the first time, there's always a chance to remove the ear pad again and then start over. But eventually you're going to get this right, and then we're going to do the same on the upper end, so at the second pin. And as soon as both are aligned correctly, then we're going to press firmly on the ear pad so that it sticks correctly. And at this time we don't want to really try to remove it again. We don't want to pull at this point because the adhesive now has to cure a little bit, and then it will eventually stick really nicely and forever on there. And now that we're done with the right ear cup, we're going to repeat the same process on the left ear cup as well. So I removed the old ear pad before, and I also cleaned this up pretty well. So now it's already time to reinstall the new ear pad. And here you have to look for this little seam on the bottom. So you're going to find on the ear pad this little seam on one side. So this has to line up with the auxiliary port on the bottom of the ear cup. So you can see this. First you have also the plastic pins here, so those need to line up, and then you'll eventually see here this line will line up here with the auxiliary port, so with this hole here on the side on the bottom. See this? So it's a good indicator on how to get started when we first remove the tape here, and then we want to actually glue the ear pad on there. So let's get to it. So you see I'm going to line up the line with the auxiliary port, and then also with the pin with the hole in the ear pad. And as soon as I'm going to line this up correctly, I'm going to look at this carefully. So both are lined up, and it's really easy to get the top pin lined up as well. And here also we're going to press firmly on there to make it stick nicely. And then we're already done. Okay, yeah, so I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any more questions or comments, then please leave a message below. And if you liked the video, then give me a thumbs up.